Hello friends, I am Narendra Verma, and in the series of the videos on nature and significance of management in Class 12 Business Studies, today I am with you taking another video. So today we are going to cover nature of management, that is as a science, as an art or as a profession. So before we learn the nature of management, we need to understand the meaning of this term, nature. This term is a very common one because in practical life also so often it is asked or inquired by some of the people when we meet somebody first time, then we inquire, then what is the nature of that person? What kind of person he is, right? Similarly, if we want to know what exactly the management is, remember here I'm not talking about the definition, I'm talking about what in actual it is, then we have to understand. Similarly, as we define a person, say for example, for his friends, a person can be lovable. Maybe possible for his family members, he is obedient. Maybe possible for his teachers, he is very intelligent one. So different people describe that person in different sense. Similarly, in management also, management can be seen in different aspect. So as per the topic and as per the syllabus in your business studies, management is seen as science, as art or as profession. So many scholars argue over this that management is science. Someone says that management is an art, and some people come forward this thought that management is a profession. So today we will see that in actual management is what? Science, art, profession, or both, or three of them. Maybe possible. Later on we will conclude as well, right? So now you have understood the meaning of nature. So today we are going to study about nature of management. So very first we will see that as a science. But before we see management as a science or we compare management with science, we need to know what is science, right? Science is also pretty much known to all the students, all the people. What is science? Science is what? It is a systematized body of knowledge that is acquired through observation and experimentation, and it also gives general truth and operation of laws. This is the definition of science. You can find in any book or you can verify it as well. I repeat, science is a systematized body of knowledge. I will explain also this definition. Science is a systematized body of knowledge. Means there is a systematic information about science. If you do this, then that will happen. So all the time you will find relation with few of the things. That is why it is known as science. Otherwise, it will not be known as science. So science is a systematized body of knowledge. Fine. That is acquired through observation and experimentation. Today, whatever is science in any aspect, if we see, then this knowledge of the science has been developed just because of some observation experimentation, and that observation experimentation gives some kind of law. Taking the example of Thomas Alva Edison gave the invention of electric bulb. Right. Now, if the bulb is lighting and we see the electricity, then we see that this is just because of science. But there is a systematic knowledge behind it. And it can be proved and you yourself will understand and accept it. Yes, it is possible. Fine. But this hasn't been possible without experimentation and observation. Thomas Alva Edison very first observed a lot of things and then experimented. You must have learnt about it in your previous classes. And then finally, he reached over the conclusion. He found the invention of electric bulb, right? So this is what the science. Now we will compare management as science. So science has few features. The very first feature of the science is systematized body of knowledge. And the second feature of science is based on observation and experimentation. And the third feature of the science is universal validity. Fine. Very first, let's talk about this feature. What is systematized body of knowledge? I have already explained you that today we study physics, we study chemistry, we study biology, we study so many sciences. So these sciences have some kind of body of knowledge, right? Now let's compare management with this. Yes, of course, management has also a systematized body of knowledge. It also has cause and effect relationship. Systematized body of knowledge means cause and effect relationship. If it happens, then you get the result. Say for example, if you heat the water at 100 degrees Celsius, it turns into vapor. It happens. So this is what the cause and effect relationship. Okay, and detailed study of this relationship is known as science. Fine, and which is divided into different sections, categories, which are known as physics, chemistry, biology, etc. So similarly, management is also having some cause and effect relationship. If you apply this principle, then you achieve this target, then you achieve this result. So this is, and these principles, these thoughts and these experimentations are given somewhere, which are known as management, and this management has been divided in various parts. For example, marketing management, finance management. Okay, but there are various kind of management. So here we can say that management is also a systematized body of knowledge, just like science. Now let's talk about based on observation and experimentation. Like I told you that in science all the principles are based on some observation and experimentation. Okay, you have heard about apple falling example. Newton very first observed it, and then he observed it with some other objects falling from the sky, and then he experimented over it, and later on he came with some principle which was known as Newton's law, right? So in science we have so many observation, experimentation, only then the principles are formed. This feature is also found in management. Okay, in management also so many scholars, authors have given the principles and their theories, and they are on the basis of their observation, experiences and experimentation, right? Okay, so in this category also we can say that management is also based on observation and experimentation. Okay, but there is a bit difference between science and management over here, that the science observation experimentation are done with some limitations and you always get the same result, but in management it may be possible that you do not get the same result few often, because management is related to human nature, and human nature is not specific and same all the time. Okay, so the third feature, universal validity. Let's understand the meaning of this. Universal validity means principles of science are valid universally. These are accepted, followed and believed universally. Nobody can prove them wrong. Okay, in any situation you will find that truth, and it happens means happens. Okay, for the example, you can take the example of gravity. It is there, the certain principles are there, and it is universally accepted. Okay, now let's talk about management. In management it doesn't happen. Sometimes what happens, the same situation is there and you try to give the judgment and decision which has already been taken by some other successful management in the same situation, but maybe possible you do not solve that problem with the same suggestion or decision, because sometimes unique problems come and they demand unique decision just on the basis of time, and with the changing of time situations keep on changing. In science it doesn't happen, but in management it happens. So that is why this feature is not applied in management. Here we can say that management is a science, here we can say that management is a science, but here we cannot say completely that management is a science. So in short, if we want to conclude over that management is an exact science. No, not at all. If this question comes management is an exact science, then you have to deny it. What you'll have to say, management is an inexact science, right? Management is an inexact science, or you can call it management. I'll just write here the conclusion. We use the word inexact science for management, or we use the word applied science, or we use the word social science. So if the question comes that the management is a science, yes, management is a science. But if the question comes management is an exact science, no, management is not an exact science. It is an inexact science, applied science, or social science, right? I have told you what is the reason behind it. Alright, now let's move on to another portion of this topic, that is management as an art.